Good afternoon. In this video, we're going to go over this past week's trade and the weekly recap. Before I get into the recap, if you're not in the room, you can find the link in the description of the video and in my bio section of social media account. Also, please like the video, subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so already. With that said, this was a short week. We had Wednesday off, so didn't trade that much. There wasn't many good setups, which has been like the theme lately. It's just the market has been very choppy and slow grinding and rangy. It's just not been very good to trade. So I did finish the week with 10 wins, 2 losses for a win rate of 83.33%. So definitely pleased about that. Not my 85%. So if I'm over 80% on a short week, I consider that a big win. So I'm not going to complain about that whatsoever. So I'll get started with Monday the 17th. SPY calls over 543 right here. 543 is this high right here. I waited. I did take calls up new high a day. Let's see. Yeah, first minute candle. This was a crazy day. This was just, I hate these days because it doesn't really give many opportunities. You're literally chasing everything, and I do not like that. So first play of the day was calls. It took the 54.35 calls at $5, and they went from $5 to $6.70. So I think I took them right here over higher day, or maybe it was, yeah, I took them in this candle. So I probably took them here, probably went against me, then it popped right here. So they ended up doing pretty good. So the first 10 minutes of the day, sorry, I should say the first 30 minutes of the day on Mondays have been just brutal. I gotta learn to stay away from those. Just sometimes they're really good and sometimes they're not, but lately they've just been just choppy, especially on Mondays. So got lucky on this one, so I ended up being a good play. Then I took puts at 11.55, which was right here. I don't know why I I took it here. I mean, I guess I see why. RCT trend line's right there, but I didn't think it was going to run this much. I get a doji right here, red candle right here. So we get a nice little area of like the body of this candle, the wick, and the wick. So look, I thought, okay, we get underneath this 543.50 area, and we're going to get a good play. Could get in a big drop. I should learn that. I should not learn. I mean, sometimes I just like get overzealous and try to pick the top, which sometimes ends up backfiring. And like I always say, that you don't know what the market's going to do until it's all said and done. So I'm thinking we're topping here, and we're gonna drop back to the EMAs, but sometimes it doesn't work out and ends up just raging, and that's what it did right here. So I had the 54.40 puts at 640, and I stopped out at 4 when it popped right here. So I just waited. I was not going to chase any of this. I waited, but I did take calls at 317, which is right here, right when it broke over. I think I got it when it went over these candles right here, the 548 area. I took the 54.80 calls at 850, and they went from 850 to 960. I know that this up here, to me this seemed a little better because it consolidated more than right here. I mean, right here, this is where I tried to call the top and it went against me, but right here just did pops, pulls back a little bit, pops, pulls back a little bit, and pops, and there wasn't really any consolidation. It was just like FU candles right here. Then it finally dumped a little, then it consolidated a little more. So I was thinking, okay, we get over this, we're gonna pop. But I was probably looking at calls under 547.40ish, so I mean puts under that. So but calls ended up paying off, and then after I took that play, I just like, okay, I'm done. I don't like these days. These are the days I do the worst at because it's just complete insanity, just going and going and going on based on nothing. So I do not like days like that. So I try to like sit out and just try not to do anything. Then on what Tuesday, traded his room. I said SPY puts into 546.50, which is down here. Just rounded down, and unless there was another low right here. No, it was just I rounded down because it was 546.67. I'm not gonna use exact numbers in pre-market. That's just the way I prefer to do things. It's just I don't trade the first too many candles, so it doesn't matter anyway. So I'll find something else to go off from. But the first play I took was at 10:45, which was right here. I mean, it broke higher day, it faked out, didn't break lower day. It came down to lower day, close right here. Then it bounced. Then it made a lower high, and then this is where I decided. Did I get it? I got it at lower day. When it broke lower day this time right here, this is where I took puts right here. I thought for some reason I took it under here, but no, I took it right here. So the 54.70 puts is 640, and then went from 640 to 790. Oh, this thing's loud. Hold on. Sorry, some stupid appliances making a noise. So yeah, I had the 54.70 puts right here from 640 to 790. So I got a little bit of a play, not too much. It pretty much ranged all day, and then I took calls again at 121 right here. I mean, I didn't want to take it right here because this was kind of a hard day because I know that it's ranging, and I am not a fan, and I say this all the time in the room. I do not like buying calls at the low of the range, the bottom of the range, and I don't like buying puts at the top of the range because SPY likes to flush, SPY likes to squeeze, and to me, those are the most dangerous areas to grab puts and calls, and I prefer not to do that on a range day. So I just wait. So I didn't grab calls here, but when it pulled back to VWAP, I went on the VWAP and it quickly got bought back up. When it came back up to the 50, about 548 areas where I grabbed calls, which was in this candle right here. I grabbed the 54.85 calls at 550, and then went from 550 to 870. So that ended up being a good play. So it touched the higher day one, two, three, four. This is the fifth time. The more times it touches, the more likely it's gonna end up breaking. So there's no specific. You go in after the third touch or after the fourth. You don't know. And I see so many people on Twitter saying, "Oh, it's the number 3 rule." That's the dumbest thing I've ever seen because SPY does not go by those rules. There's no rules set in stone. They just sometimes it takes 2 tries, sometimes it takes 3, sometimes it takes 4. I've seen it where it takes 10 tries. The chances of you nailing it on the exact time it happens is going to be slim. If you try to time it, it's just they're impossible to time. You don't know if it's going to break this time or this time or this time or this time. You don't know. You just got to be careful, and the more time it touches, the more likely it's going to break. So being number 1, 2, 3, 4, and this number 5, to me, 5 times, it's probably going to break. I probably would have thought it would break right here, but I probably wasn't feeling it. I probably just said, okay, it's going to stay within range. But when it made this higher low right here, that's when I felt a little more confident that we would break this time because this is the 5th touch and we made a higher low. So it did end up breaking right there. So you gotta just watch what these so-called furu idiots on Twitter or X or whatever you want to stock twits and their stupid bogus rules or their logic that they have. It's the stupidest thing I've ever seen. So just find what works for you and what you like. And the one thing, I'm going to rant a little bit, the one thing I can't stand is that people get so fixated on a strategy and they don't start doing good with the strategy. They move to a different ticker using that strategy, and it works for a little bit, then it stops. Then they move to another ticker using this strategy, and then it stops working. You know, there's something wrong with your strategy. You got to change it, or you got to adapt to it. You can't just change the ticker and think that your strategy is what ends up is the key element. That your strategy is the be all end all. You have to make this strategy work, and it's the ticker, not the strategy. No, it's the strategy. You gotta learn to adapt and change to the market conditions. Switching the tickers just to make your strategy work is a bad thesis. I have used so many strategies. I have changed so many things over the years. If you've been with me since the beginning, I have changed so many things over the last 4 or 5 years. You got to learn to adapt. You can't stick to one strategy and force it to work. It does not work like that. Trading does not work like that. That's a bad thing to do. You got to be able to adapt and change. So changing the ticker is not going to make your strategy better. So you gotta tweak it. You gotta change it. And there's so many strategies I see online. I don't like to go on social media and look at the other gurus because they're just what they say and what they teach and what they do is just like, huh? That's stupid. And and plus, they always Photoshop and they make it seem like that their strategy is like the best thing ever. And the one thing you stay away from. Hold on a second. I gotta pause it for 1 second. Okay, sorry, my voice was cracking. I had to take a drink. But one thing I cannot stand, and a big red flag to me, and I know I might, ruffle some feathers, but stay away from people that like are supposedly creators of a strategy or supposedly creators of an indicator. That's the dumbest shit I've ever seen. So that's a huge red flag. When you go to a bio page on some trader saying, I'm the creator of this certain indicator. So who cares? The biggest indicator is price action. It's not your stupid indicator. So I really can't stand the people that gloat thinking that this guy's going to be a good trader. He invented his own indicator. He invented his own strategy. He's got to be good. No, that's the biggest fallacy you're ever going to see. Stay away from people like that. What you want to see is a proven track record. I mean, look at my proven track record over the last 4 or 5 years. My stats have gotten better. I've gotten better. I mean, I like to say I've gotten better, but yeah, I've gotten better. My stats have improved year to year over year. I've changed. I've dealt with the way things are, and I don't sit there and say you need to do this way. I adapt so many things. So I know I'm just rambling, but I just want to put that out there because I really hate seeing people stick to a strategy and force it to work when it's not going to work, or people pandering stupid indicators and yeah, your indicator may work for a short time, then it doesn't, and you're not smart just because you create an indicator. You're taking advantage of people. So with that said, I know I ranted, but whatever. I do rant once in a while. What was the next one? The 19th was Wednesday. We had off. It was closed. The market was closed. The 20th was Thursday. Trade ideas room. SPY puts it in the 549. Let's see. 549 is right here. This low. I waited the first 10 minutes out. First 30 minutes. I took puts at 10:09, which is right here when it broke. I think I got it right here when it broke below this 549.30 area. They went from 620. I got the 54.90 puts at 620, and they went from 620 to 10:10. So that ended up being a really good play. That's been the key thing lately. I mean, yeah, you get about calls over higher day, but it's just I didn't like the gap up. I mean, we had a pretty big gap up from 548 to 551. That's a $3 plus gap up, and I just wasn't feeling it. I figured 550 would be a big area. It would collapse that right here. To me, I wasn't feeling it. I was only looking at the put side because 550 was a big area, and you got a good play out of that. Then it chopped a little bit, and I took calls at 11:08. So yeah, I did take calls, thinking, okay, maybe we're gonna push right here back up to 550 or the higher day. And right when I got over VWAP, I grabbed the 5,500 calls. How did I take a loss here? Uh-huh. 1108. Did it? Uh-huh. How did I take a loss here? Okay, but I don't know. Somehow I did. I took the 5,500 calls at 750, and then I added 1124, which is right here. Right here when it pulled back off the 200 EMA, thinking they were gonna bounce, and then it flushed. So yeah, I added more 450, making my new average $6, and it dropped, and I stopped out at 4. So yeah, I don't know how I didn't get. I'm not unless it was a large pop, and I think this might have been the one where it popped through very fast, and I bought the pullback, and it just kept pulling back. So yeah, that was probably stupid. So yeah, it is what it is. And it actually rejected the 20 EMA. And I used to play those all the time. Going back to what I used to do, I used to play the rejections off the 200 EMA and off the 20 EMA. Now SPY just rips right through it like it doesn't care. So I don't even look at it. I don't even look, okay, 20 EMA is right there. That's going to reject. I'm going to get the rejection. I don't even look at that anymore because it just doesn't work. And I didn't sit there and going to what I was saying was, oh, I didn't switch to QQQ, I didn't switch to Apple or anywhere else to make my strategy use. I have to use this one strategy, and if I'll find the ticker that reacts to it, and I'll stick to it. No, change it. Change what you're doing, and that's what I did. I changed it. I just, I mean, I still think of the strategies I used to use, thinking, okay, maybe it's going to come back, because sometimes they do go away and they come back. And but I used to front run them right when I would reject. Oh, I'm going to grab puts, and they would reject, but I can't do that now. SPY is just too crazy. So with that said, yeah, that calls was a loss. I don't know how I did that, but I think, like I said, that I popped through viciously, and when it pulled back, I grabbed the pullback, and it just went against me. So then I switched to puts at 102, which is right here. No, not 102. Right here. Okay, flushed through here. Got a nice little bounce bear flag right here. So when I broke below the 546.50 area, I grabbed the 54.65 at 720, and then went from 720 to $11. So that ended up being really, really, really good. Then I took puts again at 302, which is right here. Right when it broke below the I probably said 547, or maybe I did go exact number 547.20, or maybe I went even higher up to here. I don't know the exact number, but if I had to guess, I would have either grabbed it at 547.40 or 547.20, either at the bodies of these two candles right here, which is the wicks, or I grabbed them underneath the wicks of these two candles, which cleared the wicks of these ones. So either or, that's where I would have grabbed it. And the 54.75 puts at 470, went to $11, and that dropped. So that ended up being a good play right there. So then Friday was choppy day. Traded his room on Friday. SPY puts at under 544, which is this low right here. First 10-minute candle. Let's see. First 10-minute candle was red, and I took a chance, and I took puts at the ORB, which is open range. Open range is the first 10-minute candle, and B is breakout or breakdown. So when it broke down, I got puts. I grabbed the 54.50 puts at 710, and then went from 710 to 1110. So that ended up being a good play. No indicator, no fancy bullshit, just straight up price action. So I know I'm taking jabs at that. It's just like I can't stand some of the people on Twitter just pandering the bullshit just to make themselves look good. Then let's see calls. I took calls at 11:01, which is right here. I took it at new high a day, so I waited for it to actually break the wick. These wickets. I can't speak right. These wicks of these candles right here. So I grabbed calls probably over 55.44.80 right here in this candle, and I grabbed the 54.75 calls at 720, and then went from 720 to 970. So they got a dollar plus move on that. Then I took calls at 350. I didn't take calls here. I probably should have, but I didn't. I took calls here though, when I broke over the 50, the 544, either the 60 or 70 areas where I grabbed it. And I want to say 70 because 70 makes the most sense because you get the bodies of these two candles and they clear the wicks of these ones. So that ends up being the best area to grab it. And I grabbed the 5470 calls at 220, and they went from 220 to 480, so they went 100% plus. So that ended up being a really good end of the day play. Quad witching, someone was mentioning in the room, they used to be massive movers. One of my biggest plays ever was Amazon on a quad witching, and that was like 5, 6, 7 years ago. I don't remember. I lose track of time. But we haven't had a good quad witching in, I don't know, it's been at least a few years. And I used to like watch quad witching like crazy. And you know, because we've had 3 years of duds, I don't even watch them anymore. I don't even care because it's not really worth it. I mean, did even Amazon do anything? Let me just look at Amazon because I'm already done the recap. What did Amazon do on quad witching? It popped hard. And I saw Apple dumped. So maybe quad witching works the best on the non-index stocks. So maybe that's what I need to do. Next quad witching is not watch like SPY. See, Meta did nothing. See, you literally would have to get lucky. See, BA did nothing. Who else? What else? So I look at Netflix. Netflix did nothing. I mean, you can see right here, it did nothing. Well, it bounced a little bit, but I mean, technically, I wouldn't have touched it unless it was over 686, 85. But yeah, I mean, you literally would have had to pick the right stock at the right time, which would have looks like it would have been Apple's flush or Amazon's pop. But SPY, we caught SPY's pop, but really wasn't much of a pop. We've had quad witching days where SPY would rage $3 or $4 or Duff flush $3 or $4 on quad witching, but we haven't had those in like years, and I've kind of lost faith in those. So with that said, this was a bizarre recap, a little ranting, a little raving. People just annoy the hell out of me, and that's why I don't follow anybody. I'm not a part of anyone's group. I don't want to be a part of anyone's little pack. I'm fine with that. I'm a loner. I like being by myself and doing things alone. I don't like doing things or communicating with other traders because I feel like that if you communicate with other people, you lose focus and you start seeing things their way, and I don't want. I've been doing this for so long, and I prefer. That's a fact. That's where I ended up getting a lot better because I used to be in a bunch of rooms. I used to be around a bunch of traders, and then I just started to realize that it was too much to look at. I mean, everyone's calling tickets, everyone's calling this, everyone's calling that, everyone's looking at this, and you're watching 20 different stocks doing 20 different things, and I'm just like, no, it's too much noise. And the moment I got out of the rooms and stopped listening to other people and stopped watching what other people were watching, and then everything changed for me. So I suggest you do the same. Get out of all the rooms. Stop watching all the people on Twitter and what they're doing, and focus on you, what works for you, and focus on a few strategies, hone in on it, and focus on only a handful of tickers, 3 or 4 tickers, and that's it. You're not gonna get anywhere watching everything that moves all the time, and it's just and you see people on Twitter that always manage to catch the big moves. That's because they're full of shit. They're either posting after the fact and saying that they caught the move, or they're photoshopping it. I don't trust anyone on Twitter or X or whatever, and you shouldn't either. They're anyone that panders their lifestyle or panders their money to you is just seeking attention, and just and that's not me. I don't roll like that. I don't care what people think. So nice little recap. I'm sure somebody's gonna say something in the room, but hey, you wanted the real me, you got the real me. So that's it, and thanks for watching.